Good evening, y'all, and welcome back to Apron Strings and Into the Kitchen with me. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to try a recipe that I haven't tried this exact one before, but it's the Artisan No Knead bread, and I've made some before, but this is a little different, so I wanted to try it. It has garlic and salt and pepper, yeast, some chopped rosemary, but you could use whatever you wanted to use. You don't have to use rosemary. And did I say garlic? Garlic, salt and pepper, rosemary, yeast, water, and flour. And I'm going to mix it up, and it has to set for 18 to 24 hours on the counter covered, and then you shape it into your little ball and put it in on parchment paper and put it in your put it in something to rise till it doubles, and then heat your Dutch oven or whatever you're going to cook it in till it's really hot for about 30 minutes. Put your parchment paper with your dough on it in there and cook it, and it's done. You don't have to knead it and work with it. It's kind of flop it here and flop it there, and you come out with a loaf of bread. So I'm going to get me a bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and measure 3 cups of flour, and we'll get started mixing. And then I'm going to leave it on the counter until tomorrow night, and I'll bake it, and then y'all will get the video. Hopefully, this is Sunday evening, so hopefully you'll get the video sometime Tuesday, so you'll know when it comes out that I've been working on this for 2 days. Let me get my bowl over here and get some flour in it. If y'all see these eggshells over here, we put a load of eggs in the freeze dryer. I just want to be sure I have eggs, y'all, so let me get me something to out of this drawer to level my flour off with. My excess eggs I'm trying to put into the freeze dryer because I just want to be sure I have plenty of eggs. Now I have my bread flour right here in this container. So what I'm going to do, and I've got bay leaves in there too to keep the bugs out. You see, I'm just going to level it off. So I need 3 cups. 1, okay, 3 cups of flour, and if you don't have bread flour, you can just use all-purpose. That'll be perfectly fine. Now I'm going to move y'all back over here where you can see what I'm doing. Into my flour, I need to add 3 cloves of garlic, which I've got it there, a tablespoon of chopped rosemary, a teaspoon and 1/4 of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper, and I need, well, it's in this one, and I need a 1/2 teaspoon of yeast, and then 1.5 cups of warm water. So I've got my flour in here. I'm going to go ahead and add all my dry stuff, and we'll do the water last. There's my garlic and the rosemary. My rosemary trees froze. I was so sad. I'm going to go ahead and give this a mix in the bowl and on the butcher block too, it looks like. Making a mess. If you're not a regular bread maker, but you thought, I wish I could make homemade bread, this kind of bread is easy, and it tastes just as good as any other because it's salt, flour, and water and yeast, and then whatever little flavorings you want to put in it. I'm going to sprinkle in my yeast because that's how it said to do it. I like to just mix everything so I'll be sure that I don't have a clump of it stuck together in there that needs to be married to everything else. So I've got 1.5 cups of water, and I'm going to use my Swedish dough hook and just mix it up. That's all you have to do, get it mixed. And I think I see a wad of garlic that didn't separate in there. This is just like in the mixer. It's clean the size of the bowl, but I'm still mixing a little bit. See how it's about clean the sides of the bowl? And it's just in a blob. But I'm still mixing it because I want to make sure that garlic is mixed all through it. And the reason I can tell is because I can see the yellow little hunk of garlic in there. I'm hoping that that's sufficient. It's sticky, but that's okay. I'm gonna get some saran wrap. It's not saran wrap, that's kind of like calling everything a Coke. It's actually that from package of from Costco. That's a never-ending roll of plastic wrap. I'm almost to the end of one, and I've had it forever. So I'm going to cover this, y'all, and I'm just going to sit it on the counter till tomorrow evening, and I'll bring y'all back when I start making the bread, letting it rise a couple of more hours, and then put it in the oven. And then I'll butter me a piece and eat it. Okay, y'all, my bread has been sitting on the counter for about 15 hours. And y'all can see that it's got little bubbles on the top, kind of fermented, which is like it's supposed to be. So I'm going to scrape it down a little bit. Y'all can't really see what I'm doing, I don't think. Maybe you can. I want to sprinkle a little bit of semolina on it because I don't want it to be so sticky. So what I'm going to do is put it in this bowl that's made to do the bread, and I'm going to let it rise for a couple of hours, and then I'm going to put it on parchment. I want to heat my baker, and I'm going to put it on parchment in the baker. But I've got it in here now with a little bit of semolina flour on the top, and I'm going to let it rise about 2 hours till it kind of is double, and then I'll get it into my clay baker and we'll see how it turns out. I'm anxious to try it. I've done the artisan bread before, and this is the same recipe that I've done before, and I have a video. But this one has the herbs and the garlic in it, and I think it'll just be delicious. So we're going to try it and see what it turns out. There's another little dab I'll add to it. Alright, I'm going to turn the camera off, get my hands clean, cover this, wait a couple of hours, and I'll be back again. I've got my oven preheating to 450, and I've got my covered thing in there that I'm going to bake my bread in. And when it has heated for 20 to 30 minutes, I'll get my bread in it and cook it for about 30 minutes and let it cool enough to cut it, and then I'll show y'all what it looks like. I've got my bread out on some parchment here, and I'm just going to lift this up and put it into the baker when I get it out of the oven, when it's been in there for its extended period of time. We'll see how it turns out. Okay, I've got my pan, but I'm not sure about this because my bread has spread out a whole lot. We'll see if it's going to work. This is very hot. It's going to make a steam bath here for the bread. Down there, because I don't want to hold it. Okay, I'm going to put it in the oven covered for about 30 minutes, and then I'm going to uncover it for about 10, and we'll check for doneness. What I should have done was put parchment in my thing that it was rising in, then just pick that up and put it over in this pan instead of taking it out and it's spreading out. But I haven't made this artisan bread in a while, so I'm having to get back in the groove again. But it'll taste good. See, I don't always do things right, so don't be afraid to dive in and try to cook something that you're wanting. Pretty ain't always the best thing. It still tastes good. We'll see what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Take the lid off now and let it cook a little bit. I'm going to see what it looks like, and then let it finish cooking without the lid on it. Okay, I'm going to cook it about, I think it said 10, 15 more minutes, and then I'll check it again. I'm going to get my bread out and get my thermometer and check the internal temperature right quick. Come on. Yeah. It's okay. It's about 200. So I'm going to lift it out of here and put it on the rack. And I've got the semolina on the top. I need to get that brushed off. I don't like that on there. And you can get that off, because what I like on it is butter. Now I'm just going to try to get it off of here and onto here. Put this in the trash. Then we'll let it cool for a little bit, and then we'll cut it, put some butter on it, see what it tastes like. I usually do in my zozarushi, or I do sourdough in my Pullman pan or a loaf pan. I don't usually do the round bread like this, but I have done an Artisan one before, but I did it in my 7-quart Le Crochet Dutch oven. And this is an Emile Henry that I got from eBay. Got a good deal on it, and I've never used it, so I always want to use it. So we'll see what it tastes like. Because like I said, I've had stuff that wasn't very pretty, but it sure did taste good, so we're going to see how this turns out. I'm going to add, I'm going to rub it with some butter while it's hot. And then I'm going to put some on my slice when I cut it. I'll just leave it right there to get soft. Are y'all picking up some extra butter and stuff when you go to the store? You better, because it's not getting any cheaper. We've got the freeze dryer going with 5 trays of eggs. And it takes about 18 to 20 eggs per tray, because my hens, the eggs are a little smaller right now, and I've been saving them up. So I'm just going to freeze dry when I get enough. I'm going to preserve them where I'll have them to use. And once I freeze dry them, 2 tablespoons of the egg powder and 2 tablespoons of water equals 1 egg. So I'll have eggs to, and you can scramble them. I showed y'all that before. They taste, that stuff's on my butch block. It's gritty feeling. I can cook with them, or we can make them into scrambled eggs, and you can't tell the difference. So I'm going to feel a little bit comfortable having me some ahead, just in case my ladies get real lazy. They're lazy right now, unless they get super lazy and I don't get any eggs. I've got 14 chickens, and one of them is a Polish with the little top knot. She just dawdles around. I don't think she lays an egg. But the rest of them should be laying eggs, and I'm getting 4 to 7 a day, and I've got 13, not counting puff hair. So they need to up their game a little bit, but I'm thankful for what I am getting. But when the cost of feed is crazy too, but I have eggs, so I'm not going to fuss about it. I'm making them free range. I'm letting them free range all day, every day, so they're not getting as much extra stuff as they were getting. I'm giving them some laying pellets, but they're not getting to pig out on them. I'm making them hunt bugs and worms. Okay, I'm going to let this cool, and then I'll be back in a little bit. I know I don't have on the apron, but this has been such a multi-task ordeal till it's not a normal cooking day. So anyway, we'll cut it here in a minute and see what it looks like. Okay, y'all look at that crumb. Isn't that pretty? I think we'll put some butter on it and see what it tastes like. I'm going to do the end piece, the heel's what I always like. If I'm going to make toast from just regular light bread, bought bread, I like the heel. Needs to melt that butter. Just look at this. Don't that just look tasty? Mmm. Let's see. Mmm. The crust is real crunchy and the inside is chewy. And I can't really taste the rosemary, but I think my taste is affected a little bit just like my smell. I say I can taste, but sometimes stuff that I should be able to taste don't have a pronounced flavor to me. But that's very good bread. Now, if you make you some, when you put it to rise that 18 to 24 hours, and then you bring it out, and then you're going to let it rise the 2 hours, you need to have had it on parchment where you can just set it over in your pot when you get ready to, and that way it'll have a prettier shape, because this was kind of spread out and then it just kind of bunched up. It don't look that bad. It don't look that pretty either. So do it your way, do it however you want to. You could even put it in a loaf pan, but this is how most of this kind of bread is cooked, so this is how I cooked it. So this is something y'all can do if you're not a professional or want to be professional bread maker, but you want to make some homemade bread. This will work for you. That setting out 18 hours gives it the most wonderful flavor. And then you just, you don't have to knead it. You watched me, you just put it over your pot and bake it. Make you some and let me know what you think about it. And if you don't like the rosemary, leave it out. My original recipe didn't have rosemary in it. You can use basil, thyme, whatever you want. Now this does have some garlic, minced garlic in it, and I love that. But you can make it your own and put what you like the best. Make it plain and make cinnamon toast out of it. Y'all have a great day, a great week. Do something fun, cook some good food, and make some memories around the table. Spend some time one-on-one looking in each other's eyes and talking and not texting and not talking on the cell phone. Make some good memories, because one of these days we might need some good memories to look back on and say, y'all remember what it was like back then? Because I do that on my childhood, because it's nothing compared to the times today. So make some good memories. Don't forget to talk to the good Lord. He's in control of everything, and He can stay trouble or He can let it happen. It's His will, but I like to believe that if I pray and live for Him and ask Him to protect me and to keep me from certain things, that He'll put a hedge about me. So y'all need to think about that. The good Lord bless and keep you, and I'll be back in a day or two with something good. And we'll just visit around this butcher block and have a good old time.